Welcome to a very exciting video. This is the first of a couple leagues which I have signed up to for this going into summer, and so this is ICBA season 6, I think. I'm going to need to double check that for next time. But yeah, so this is the draft analysis that I'm bringing you, and so first things first, this is an S-tier league, so that means that we have a couple of kind of Ubers and stuff which is considered much better than for standard drafts, etc. Hanging around, which means that we have an interesting draft, I'm not going to lie. So going into it, we were placed relatively low again, 'cause my luck is impeccable. I was like 12th out of 16, so towards the middle and on the worst end of the middle. But so a lot of decent stuff went quite early. But so this is in round order, I think. But so first of all, we got Mega Latias. I've named it finally because I've wanted to use it for so long. But yeah, so this one is really consistent. It needs a Latia site. Just for next time. There we go. Base 80 HP, which isn't the best, but then all of its other stats are unbelievable. It's really bulky, it's got a decent special attack, and it's not got like a bad physical attack. And base 110 speed, which is really quite nice. It's got a whole host of interesting niches that it can carve, like having reflect type. It's a good calm mind, stored power, sweeper. It's got access to a whole host of coverage. It's a defogger, it's a wish passer, it's a screen setter, it's got raw, it has reliable recovery in both recover and roost. It's also got access to sucker punch, which is really quite nice. Yeah, and it just keeps on going, and there's even stuff in the mostly useless stuff which I'm considering possibly using. We'll wait and see. But yes, so Mega Latias round 1, and then so going into round 2, I saw something quite nice still on offer in the form of Celesteela. And so the pairing of Mega Latias and Celesteela is kind of nice because they cover off each other's weaknesses quite well, barring the dark type weakness that Mega Latias has. But so Celesteela does what Celesteela does. It's able to come both physically and defensively. Base 97 HP, base 101 attack, base 103 defense, base 107 special attack, base 101 and base 61 speed. In another S tier league, I managed to get this to be like kill leader or like top 3 for 5 weeks straight until I decided to not bring it 1 week in GBL. So I'm looking forward to using this. I'm going to be using it slightly more carefully than I did there. I want to make sure that it lands its mark when it needs to, instead of just kind of being insert leech seed annoyance and possibly being kind of set up fodder. Round 3 came round and Suicune was still on the board, and I kind of like the look of Suicune. I was really going for kind of a slightly bulkier offense draft, and yeah, so we all know what Suicune does. It's another thing which has access to Calm Mind, Substitute Protect, Pressure Stall, Toxic. It does the works, and it's base 75 attack isn't the most ideal thing to go offensive, but you know, we might be able to bring it one week. But so yeah, going into round 4, I realised that I kind of need some physical presence on this team. So Tapu Bulu turns up. We used this most recently in PMC. I didn't use it to great effect. I want to try and do it more justice. Here, I tend to bring slightly more defensive sets because I think that's actually where Tapu Bulu's prowess lies, because its stats are actually quite good for running slightly more defensive stuff, and it doesn't really have the speed to be able to properly break through teams unless it has webs. We'll just leave that there for the moment. Going into round 5, I'm doing that thing. So I've brought Hawlucha. We have Hawlucha round 5 on your right, because he looks like the Falcon, and Endgame's just been so. It's still very much in the front of my mind. We then move on into Tentacruel. Really wanted a T-Spike user, as actually the rest of my team does really quite well in just being patient and letting T-Spikes wear teams down. The only interesting thing is I have both Tentacruel and Suicune, so it might be something that I switch out later. Still on the search for another reliable T-Spikes user, if at all possible. So we have Defunct version 2, because he was also in PMC, or she was. We then have Rodan, my Moltres. I wanted to use Moltres for quite a while. It's got some nice stats, and it's quite a nice Z user as well, as it has access to Tailwind, I believe. It's a U-turn Mon, Whirlwind, Hurricane. It's got a handful of nice things, and being a Z-Mon as well. Excuse me. Really complements it quite well. Then going into round 8, I wanted another fairy type, because whilst Tapu Bulu is good, it's not a reliable actual fairy type kind of abuse mon. And so actually Slurpuff has a whole host of support options. It's another Wish user, it's a Sticky Web user, it's another Unburden mon. It has both Belly Drum and Carmine. Its stats aren't the best, but yeah, it has tons of utility, and I want to do Buttercup well, because coach, you best be watching this, and if you're not, I'm going to be very ashamed. You know who you are. Round 9, it's another PMC mon, Sneasel, used to good effect. People don't like it, I do. It does what it needs to do, in my opinion. Really nice coverage. Dark Ice is a really, really good offensive pairing. It's a bit kind of Vacuum Wave, Mach Punch, Bullet Punch, gets utterly annihilated, but it's still very good. And then so final 2 mons, I really needed ground type, and I really wanted the ghost type. Enter Palisand. I've never used this before. It's going to be interesting using it. That's all I can really say on it. This is actually going to be a really short draft analysis. You'll hear more of this when I talk about my prep through the season. But yeah, so it's really quite nice. It's a solid stealth rocket, and it's something else that I lacked on this team. This team is actually kind of, it's both good and not good all at the same time. Yeah, I need to work on a couple of things, see if there's any sort of wiggle room on stuff. And then finally we have Emolga as my electric type and my 4th flying type. So yeah, Emolga though, both of its abilities are really handy, really handy. Base 103 speed is quite a nice niche to carve, and then yeah, it's got a handful of nice moves which can abuse, like Nuzzle. It's also Screen Setter, U-turn, Volt Switch, stuff like that. But yeah, that's my ICBA draft. I'm sorry this is so short. It's nearly half past midnight, and people are sleeping, and I'm quite tired myself, and I'm in the middle of exam season. But yeah, so this season should be good. I'm excited for what it brings. I think I have quite a good core to build on. There are some things that need to be worked on here though. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this this brief look over my team. And I will catch you all week 1 of either the Crash PR or of ICBA. Hope you all have a very good time. To those who don't have finals, screw you. But yeah, have a good week, everybody. Bye.